Now, let's see what other spring delights there are. I just do a couple of detours on our way out into the main garden. And the first detour is this extraordinary New Zealand fuchsia. And look at the way these sort of greeny purpley flowers come straight out of the trunk. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. And there's masses of them. And you do get this peeling cinnamon bark, which is also very attractive. Fuchsia excorticata. Under Stachyurus magpie, suddenly they pop up. Canadian bloodroot, because actually the roots and stems are red. This is the double form, Floripleno. A welcome sight, even though it's fairly transient. It doesn't last more than a week at the absolute maximum. Past the amazing hellebore, Anna's red. I'm taking you up this way, up the steps, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to smell this delicious and spicy aroma from this North American buffalo currant. Pity you can't actually. It really is a best fantastic scent, which is why I've put it by the steps here as you go past. You know, I passed this rhododendron going into the garden, and I don't know why I tend to ignore it. Look at it. How can you ignore it? This was already quite old when I planted it by the old house, and I moved it here about 25 years ago. So this must be, about 40 years old, I should think, this thing, if not more. I mean, it's quite a common rhododendron, so-called dwarf rhododendron, ha ha ha, because I don't know how dwarf is, never mind. But look at it, absolutely covered in flowers. So I shan't ignore it. There's a little branch of it out here, which is still, the buds are still coming out. Amazing, amazing. I think it still is quite a popular rhododendron. This is blue tit. It's been around for years and years. But as I say, it's supposed to be a dwarf and marketed as such. And of course, it does take quite a long time to reach this amazing size here. But very attractive it is too. Now here's a lovely, unusual blossoming tree, and I thought I had lost it in the terrible drought we had 2.5 years ago. It looked terribly sad, but I'm pleased to say it does seem to have come back to life. There's something about the pink. It's a lovely clear pink with the white. And the flowers are quite intriguing if you get close up to them. Let's have a look. This is Staphylia holocarpa rosea. Come along here, we're peeking through the opening flowers of Magnolia atlas. I want to show you this wonderful rhododendron here, which came from my father-in-law's garden. It's an arboreum hybrid called Sir Charles Lemon. I think this is just a form of Sir Charles Lemon. It's because the buds open up pink, but they then become white as they age. And the other lovely thing about it is the amazing rusty brown indumentum under the leaves. So it's quite striking actually all the year round. Flowering at the same time as this Magnolia, Leonard Messel, perhaps slightly later this year than usual. I'm going to show you a Bramble. Yes, I know, strange, but true. And here it is, a suckering Bramble, which can go all over the place if you're not careful, but it's redeemed by its lovely flowers. Look at this. It's a double flowered form. This is Rubus spectabilis, and the double form is Olympic Double. Nothing to do with the Olympics or Greece, but this is from the Olympic Peninsula, Washington State, up in northwest America. Isn't that amazing? You can see why it's a member of the rose family, can't you? Coming up here is a lovely magnolia, not very big, but unfortunately it's right at its best when it first comes out, because here, let me show you, you've got these wonderful yellow petals with this red flash underneath, and it has this sort of creamy colour, but as you can see, after a few days, and it's only been out, what, a week at the most, the yellow is now fading to white, still with a red flash, but it's much nicer when it's cream coloured. See a remnant of it there. This is Sunrise. Always an exciting moment for me is when this Trillium comes out, this wake robin, which I collected in Virginia years and years and years ago in the Blue Mountains. This is the pink version of Trillium grandiflorum. And the exciting thing is that after, what, it must be 12 years since I collected it, it's only ever produced one flower. But look, 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 another flower is coming. Excitement. 2 flowers in 12 years. Ha! Now, under the staphylia, we're walking past the early flowering evergreen azalea, Aminum, which is not fully out yet, and my goodness me, it's a bold plant when it's all out, and this must be 45 years old, I would say. Anyway, we mustn't be distracted by that, because what I want to do is show you this berberis from Chile. Now, most berberis don't grow much more than a bush, but this one is certainly more than a bush, and it's absolutely dripping with its yellow orange flowers. We'll have to come round a bit to have a look at one close up. But I must say, everything looks so wonderful against the blue sky. I'll just come round here a minute. So here we have them. Here we have them. All the flowers dripping is the only word I can describe them as. Dripping. In the Garden of Rarities. Anyway, this is one of the rarer of the rarities here. This is a tree I collected in China 20 years ago called Litsea populifolia, and it flowers very well around about Easter time every year. Full of flower. Here what they look like, and the leaves are very bold and large when they're fully out. So it's quite a dramatic tree. Very rare in cultivation, but quite common in the wild apparently. Now just beyond the Litsea you may have spotted a shrub covered in white flowers. Well, this is the hardy citrus called Poncirus trifoliata. But at this time of year it is just covered in its beautiful white flowers. These turn to kind of tangerine, small tangerine fruits in the autumn, which are really inedible, if you ask me. A characteristic is these very sharp spines. Quite a good deterrent. And the leaves are in groups of 3, hence trifoliata. Never mind the spring flowers, what about the spring foliage? This is a wonderful Acer, Ciccio improved. I have no idea what the unimproved version's like, but this is pretty good. I've put it here so that the sun can shine on the leaves, because that really does light them up. Well, why don't we end with this, to my mind, one of the most beautiful of the Japanese cherries, Shimizu Sakura. This one opens from pink buds into double white flowers, and the mixture, I think, is just gorgeous. The flowers hang down, and it has acquired a nickname, the Blushing Bride. Quite unnecessary, if you ask me. I think the flowers speak for themselves.